What's up, Heather?
What's up, B?
Well, we're back with another exciting...
Unscripted.
Tortured Bourbon Unscripted. At your request, we do episodes without any script and not a whole lot of planning.
It's very scary.
And it's not good for two type A personalities. If this is not your first time, if you're part of the family, you're already back, welcome back. Thank you for coming. See, we're very unscripted. And if this is your first time, if accidentally you clicked on this and now you're like, why am I here? You should stick around for about the next 5-10 minutes. See how we do or if we just fall off the barrel. But if you'd like to see more of it, we do about 3 shows a week. And you can get those updates and know when they hit on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you would just click like, subscribe, and the little bell, you'll get a notification, a little thing, a little message from us. You'll like it. You'll enjoy it. It'll be great. Heather?
While you're doing that, follow us on our social media.
Please, yeah. It's the most important thing.
Facebook, X, and Instagram. I'm working on TikTok and this guy's attitude. Send us a comment, a DM, an email. We love to hear from you, and we love viewer suggestions.
We do like hearing from you. She especially likes hearing from you.
I do enjoy it. I'm not going to lie.
That's her validation in life.
Yes. Soul validation in life.
So let's talk about bourbon.
Let's do. Especially this bourbon, because this is one of my favorites.
This is one, yeah, absolutely. So Widow Jane is a distillery that we have featured in a couple episodes, usually in a comparison. We've done a couple singles, and we're going to have some more information about their distillery from those episodes and the halo above this angel's head here.
That wasn't sarcastic at all.
Not at all. But we'll do a short dive in what we can remember. So Widow Jane is out of Brooklyn, New York, because when I think bourbon, I think no sleep till Brooklyn. That's right. I mean,
you're welcome.
Straight out of there. Straight out of Brooklyn.
Widow Jane, give us a call.
Yeah.
Your new promo. It's done.
We're here because what you really want are 2 Southerners from North Carolina doing your Brooklyn promos.
That's repping Brooklyn. Hey.
Heck yeah.
It's innovative. So when I think B, I think Beastie Boys.
That's right. You should. So they named their distillery out of a mine in Rosendale,
yeah.
Rosendale, New York. It's the Widow Jane mine, and that's where they source their magical limestone water.
Miraculously, everyone has a magical limestone water.
We're gonna find some in the backyard. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be an amazing experience with our magical tortured bourbon limestone water.
And then we'll just have perfect 10-year bourbon, just ready to go.
10-year bourbon.
Yeah.
So they take that and then they source their barrels from Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. I wonder why they chose those 3. And they blend it into some amazing bourbons, which have won all types of awards.
Yeah.
Now, but their distiller is...
her name is Lisa Wicker.
Yeah.
Not obviously. She's a female, which is becoming less unusual in the bourbon world. Used to, you never heard of a head female distiller / president of a bourbon company, but it's thankfully becoming a lot more equitable in the bourbon world.
Yeah, and her
background is in winemaking, which we've found to be kind of a natural progression. She puts a lot of focus now on some unique things with fermentation, blending, etc. And she's brought her own unique twist.
And they also have, and we featured it in Baby Jane, they have their own corn variety.
They do. So Baby Jane Heirloom is made out of a combo, I think it's Bloody Butcher and another
Which is fantastic.
That is a fantastic name, and then another fun name.
Yeah.
I forget the other. And so that one we're gonna get to see Baby Jane grow up because the initial release was a 4-year. They'll release again, I believe, at 6 and then 8. So I'm excited
and it's a very sweet.
I'm looking forward to preteen Baby Jane when we get up around 12 years.
She's probably getting a tattoo, maybe a belly ring.
That's maybe 16-year-old.
Hanging out, maybe trying.
With the Beastie Boys in Brooklyn.
That's right.
No sleep.
Yeah, she's having a good time. Maybe she spins off and adds a little more rye. I mean, she's out there.
Get a little crazy. We'll see. Maybe she'll do what we did.
Ooh. So this is their 10-year, and it is their flagship. I mean, I think most people, when you say, I have Widow Jane, this is probably what they're talking about.
Right.
Now, we've got 2 of them here, because why do 1 if you can do 2?
I see no fault in your logic.
So this is the Widow Jane that if you go into the store and buy the 10-year, this is what you're supposed to find. And this is a single batch select. So this is one that a representative from one of the ABC boards went up and they said, yep. Make it just like this. Take this one, mix it, do this. Bottle this one. We like this one. So it doesn't have its own tasting notes, but it's supposed to represent something that they thought was the creme de la creme of what
Right.
Widow Jane
To
should
use
taste
our
like.
parlance, they had said this is the cock of the walk of the Widow Janes
Yes.
today. So that's one we want.
Yep. We do have our tasting notes now. The aromas should be vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cream. Thank you, Widow Jane, for not making this like pies in a forest that
Forest.
Hansel and Gretel found or some mess. All right, let's give this a smell.
Classic bourbon smell. Cinnamon, vanilla, like they said, cinnamon, vanilla, nutmeg. I don't necessarily get the cream unless it's just kind of that mellow sweetness that they're sort of referring to, which I
don't
can
think
buy
so.
that.
Now, palate. This is why I think this is up your alley. Their first word they use is orange, and you love something with the zest. Maple,
freshness, yeah.
Yep. Maple, cherry, and almond, finishing with charred oak and spice. So yeah, what we're talking about. Put the notes up. We're talking about a classic bourbon. I mean, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying
With
to do
that little bit of orange freshness, because
Yeah.
that comes and goes.
which I mean, when I think Brooklyn.
That's what I think of. Classic bourbon.
Now, my understanding is they do have a chocolate shop next to the distillery.
Yes, they do. So unfortunately for you, we're going to have to go visit and spend a lot of time there. Or fortunately for you.
I like chocolate.
That's true, but I'm going to be eating all the dark chocolate.
You go right in, you get the dark chocolate.
Rami, we're around 90 something proof, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, 91. I get the almond.
Yep.
Right about it finishes with a little bit of spice.
Mm-hmm.
Little heat. I mean, it's not hot, but the spice is at the end.
What kind of spice would you call that?
Not peppery. Well, I don't know. Let me try it again.
Yeah, try that. Give that another.
It's not peppery up front,
Nope.
but the spice on the finish is a little peppery.
I think I get a little pepper on the back of my.
Oh, there it is.
I get a little pepper on the back of my.
It's
tongue.
right there. Yeah.
Not in the front.
No. The spice at the front is more of like your cinnamon.
Yes. Yeah, and it kind of transitions to pepper.
Yes, I agree with that. I don't know if I taste orange necessarily, but there is a bit of that. Again, to rehash it for those of you who haven't watched before, I always feel like it's not like biting into a juicy slice of orange. It's more like that, a little bit of a citrus bitter rind flavor.
So I watched your face, and I know how much you like Widow Jane, and how much you've. This was your thing about 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. So here's my theory.
Okay.
All right, here's my theory, and I could be wrong.
Okay.
We have really been drinking 100 proof and up bourbons for 3 or 4 months straight, kind of as the base.
Yeah.
Oh, and a lot of 110, 19, 117 barrel strength, cast finishes. When you had this was your step up or a step sideways from. You have been drinking Woodford, Elijah Craig,
A lot
Old
of Elijah
Forester.
Craig, a little bullet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things that were living in the 90s. So you hadn't challenged your proof as much as you were starting to develop your palate. So I think you still like it. I think you're a tad. I'm not going to use underwhelmed, but you're not as it's not as good as you reminisce it to be.
Yes.
Or maybe it's just as good as you reminisce it to be. It doesn't do for you what it used to do for you.
That's more it. It's still a quality good bourbon that I would recommend to people, but it doesn't knock my socks off anymore because, like you said, I've now had this whole other world of bourbons opened up.
Yeah, I mean, it's
when the very first time I had tried this, very first time I tried it was it was actually with a friend from work, and I had probably only had total maybe 10 different brands of bourbon at that point. So now we've probably tried. We probably don't want to know.
We don't want to
know. But it means that, like you said, it as you develop your palate, some of your old faithfuls lose a little of their luster. You still like them, and you're still proud of them, but they're not quite as shiny.
It's kind of like.
Uh-oh.
you got this guy you dated when you were like 16 or 17. Or, I had a girl like 16 or 17 and really rocked your world and thought this was a new great experience. And then you went off to college, maybe you studied abroad, maybe you went to Italy, England, maybe you met someone there that really opened things up and you started seeing the world a little different. And that special person from your past will always be special. But you realize that it just didn't complete you the way you wanted to be completed.
Just like that. Just like that. You didn't know stag was out there.
That's right. You didn't know it was out there.
They didn't have stag where you were from,
No,
maybe.
Right. They didn't have stag.
Colonel Taylor.
No, they didn't have those.
Or Blanton's.
Yeah, they didn't know.
Even Benchmark.
Russell's 15.
They didn't have that either.
They didn't have Russell's 15. No. You were lucky to find some Jack Daniels.
Right.
You know, and you just thought, well, it's Jack
and Jim.
Jack and Jim.
Were the options.
Jack and Jim were nice. But,
Jim Bob and Jackie Boy were the only options out there.
But now I found Stag.
And the good Colonel. Yeah. And the Reverend.
Yeah. So your world opens up when you have a little blood oath.
Thank you, Pete.
You're welcome.
For that beautiful analogy. He's here all week, folks. What do you think about it?
I think it's solid.
Yeah.
I shouldn't rate it lower because it's a 90 proof-ish bourbon. Mm-hmm. And I've been drinking higher proof bourbons. I think that I need to make a strong motion to get back to drinking some lower proof bourbons.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Sure. I'll report back on that. Now we have to save a little so we can compare. I was talking to myself.
So I'm trying to remind. So what are you gonna rank it now?
I think I'm gonna rank it that dog will hunt.
Yeah.
And that's where it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is you too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I've never liked it as much as you've liked it.
No, it's a little more up my palate alley as far as the tasting notes. You've never disliked it. Yeah.
No.
We both we used to like Baby Jane a little better, and then we absolutely threw poor Baby Jane under the bus one episode, so we probably have some making up to do to poor Baby Jane.
I'm telling you, when she grows up a little, she'll appreciate it.
Toughen her up a little bit.
That's right. I mean, Joan Jett didn't become Joan Jett because it was all, peaches and
sunshine
cream.
and lollipops.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, true. All right, so we're gonna.
She made it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
She did. She's pretty dang cool.
She's incredible.
Her Stevie. If you had
That
to
is
choose.
very different.
Her Stevie or Cheryl.
Those three are all very different.
If you had to pick one.
To do what with? To play with? To be on stage with? To be in a relationship with? Because Joan Jett's not going to be interested in me, just FYI.
No, that's not what that's You're getting way too literal with this.
Joan's really not into what I got.
All right. Okay, quickly. If you had to pick one musically, and then if you had to pick one to be with.
I've always had a thing for Sheryl Crow.
Duh. I knew that was going to be the answer.
But Stevie, I mean, if I could listen to Stevie Nicks sing forever.
Edge of 17 is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Of course, she wanted to quit Fleetwood Mac and join the Heartbreakers, but hey, there's new girls in the Heartbreakers, man. So
it was their mistake.
That's what Tom said. They had the new girls in the Heartbreakers. He did write songs for her. Special relationship there, but I digress. So it would be tough.
So it'd be Stevie musically and Cheryl.
No, Cheryl's a songwriter.
That's true.
She's a hell of a player too. She's something.
I don't think you're choosing.
I'm not, because they're two very different people.
You're breaking the rules.
I would rather spend.
Poor Joan she got kicked off the bus.
No, Joan didn't get kicked off the bus. Joan is who I want to go to
You want to go party? You want to go party with Joan?
I want to go to a concert with her. I want to talk rock with her. I want to talk about experience. Yeah. I got nothing. I mean, Joan's just different. Yeah. I mean, but Joan, we're gonna play. The fun thing about Joan is we're gonna get up. We're gonna plug in a beat up SG into a beat ass up Marshall. Mm-hmm. We're gonna plug it in. We're gonna turn it to 11, and we're gonna play power chords. It's gonna be great, and it's gonna hit. And it doesn't matter if she's playing in front of 5 people or she's playing in front of 10,000 people. She's
She's going all in.
She goes all in.
Yeah.
And I've seen her. I've been going to her concerts for over 20 years, and I gotta tell you, she's gonna punch you in the face every time, and it's great. She loves rock and roll. She believes in it. So no, I just know that she's less interested in me.
You're a little vanilla.
She has a different taste.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she has different taste.
True.
So she'd want to play with me.
That's a fair point.
She'd want to play. She'd want to rock.
She'd want to.
But she doesn't necessarily want to go out, right?
Right.
She might want to go out for a drink.
Hey, you could be her wingman, though.
I could be her wingman.
That'd be so cool.
Be Joan's
man.
wingman.
That'd be so cool.
So here we go. Unscripted.
We have now made B Joan Jett's wingman.
That would be freaking awesome.
In his wildest dreams.
I don't have a bad reputation.
I get a little bit of a different taste up front with this one.
I get a little finish different.
I get a little more oak in this one.
This is a little more complex.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that.
Oh, I like this one better.
I would agree with that. It's smoother, too.
Ooh, this lingers.
It has to.
Has to let it linger.
Mm-hmm. It does linger. I really might be full of it. That's probably true.
Nope, there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, this is thinner.
There's a difference. The mouthfeel is better
This is
on the
thinner.
second.
There's the difference.
I think that's what I meant by smoother.
Mm.
It's different. Also, this one, to me, eases in a little more, this one, to the taste. I'm a fan.
Being they're sourcing barrels and they're blending and they have batch numbers on them, they probably expect a little difference, even if they had two Widow Janes next to each other. Mm-hmm. But this one is...
So, key difference is this one has a little bit better mouthfeel, like you articulated. I get the maple a little bit more in this one.
When you say this one, the single
I'm
barrel.
sorry, yeah, the single batch, yeah.
Single batch,
What's
not
it?
single
Single
batch.
batch,
Single
single
batch.
batch, yeah.
Select single batch.
Yes, single batch select.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Sorry, we'll call it just say single batch. For me, it's a better mouthfeel. It's a little bit smoother. I get the maple a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And the finish is a little longer, like you pointed out.
I think it presents itself better in the front too. Mm-hmm. I think it gives you that's the mouthfeel.
Yep.
Neither of them are caramel bombs.
No.
Maple, but not maple syrup.
No.
Okay, I'm not. It's not overly sweet.
No, think more like a maple extract.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
So is that one gonna get bumped, or is it still sitting right where, or is it just a much better dog will hunt? I'm obviously gonna drink that one if you give me two of them.
If you give me both, I'm gonna take that one. But I think it's a special hunt dog.
Okay.
So it's like the one you grab when...
The one thing I will say about Widow Jane is their price point is generally about $10 more.
I totally agree with you.
Then I'm like...
And I think that owes, though, to the size of the distillery and all that. And
I
they're
agree.
not owned by Buffalo Trace or Campari or,
Yeah,
some big group.
I'll go with that.
But I agree with you. It costs about... if this was $10 cheaper, I think it would fly off the shelves.
Yeah. And I mean, they got to pay that Brooklyn rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to. Well, and they have to preserve their special limestone water in their special mining cave. It probably costs a lot of money.
I mean, real estate in New York's not cheap.
I mean, it's no joke.
Not like
Taxes
down here.
alone.
Not like down here in the South. Where,
I don't know. We're pretty pricey
here
here in Raleigh now.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're not joking around anymore. All right. So final thoughts.
Widow Jane's a solid pour.
It's a solid pour. Don't turn it down if it's offered.
Yeah, I think my personal statement is that this cost about $10 too much, especially to mix. Now you drink your bourbon the way you want to, but if you're buying it to try it to turn into a mixer, you're...
This one would be fine. I don't know if you remember when we made that the maple old fashioned in the fall.
I could see it in old fashioned.
That would be good.
But I'm talking about throwing this in a Coke might be.
I wouldn't pay that for something I was throwing in a Coke personally.
But you do you, because we've seen people take Pappy and make a sugar bomb out of it. So you do what you want.
You know what? Have at it.
You do.
That's not what I would do.
But I think having that, if you want to have a bourbon that people will enjoy, that is a different label from one of the what they see every day.
Different.
This is a good one to have.
But it's known in the bourbon community. Like it's well regarded.
Yeah, I think people will gravitate to it on your bar cart.
I think so too. It's got a cool label. Looks a little. I've always felt like it looks a little convict-y. Like it's got a little bit of a prison.
It does.
Vibe.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of
when we
cool.
go up and visit them, we'll ask them. Why did you go with the
prison motif?
Why did you go with the Juliet look? Was there something to that?
Yeah, it looks a little bit like an old timey wanted ad in the newspaper.
Bit, yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool though. Yeah. But they're really pumping that pure limestone water from the legendary Rosendale mines.
That's right,
so,
it's right there.
You gotta hang your hat on something, whether it be old school American lore, a magic barrel. Magic caves.
A reverend that maybe didn't make bourbon. Whatever.
You gotta find your niche.
You gotta find your niche.
All right.
So we're gonna go find our niche because we're going out to see one of our favorite cover bands tonight.
We are.
So we're gonna go see a band that will play a whole bunch of Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
And then maybe a little Nirvana.
And then maybe. But until
if we're
now,
lucky.
Yeah. No, all apologies if they don't. Cheers, y'all.